Okay, Shabbat Shalom. If everything is working the way that I expect that it's supposed to be working, you should all be online right now, watching me live here in the temple, in the flesh. I promise you, as I said on yesterday morning when I tested it out for the first time, it is actually me. These are actually my clothes. It's actual talis. It is actually 6 o'clock here in Sag Harbor in Temple Adas Israel. And this is a real joy to be able to share this experience with all of you. And before I go any further, I want to thank two people who are very, very much responsible for this even being possible. Alan Levin and his partner John Berger, who Alan had this idea probably more than a year ago to really be able to live stream to make sure that whenever anyone was out of town and they wanted to be able to connect, he couldn't have imagined, none of us could have imagined that we'd be using it in this particular circumstance. But all the more reason that we are grateful to him and John for their vision and for their perseverance in making sure that we got this done. And I'll say at the outset that it's new technology. There are likely to be hiccups, occasional problems here or there. I hope that it will run reasonably smoothly. But if you run into any issues, please do email me and let me know. It's the only way that I can get any kind of feedback to make the adjustments that are necessary. But beyond that, I just want to say again, Shabbat Shalom, my gratitude to all of you for joining at home. And also gratitude to everyone who came online last night for our first online communal Seder, which was a truly remarkable experience, which I will speak about a little bit more in our service. But it really is, it gave me a real boost. I'll just put it to you that way. A real energy. And it's made the celebration of Pesach, which going into it seemed unusual at best and perhaps challenging at worst, has actually given me a sense of excitement about Pesach that I've not had in many years. So my gratitude to all of you, and really just I'm excited for this Chol HaMoed Shabbat, this Shabbat that exists in the space between the two ends of Pesach, and which we are celebrating as we always do about Shabbat, but also adding this extra layer of our awareness of this holiday of Passover and what it means to all of us. So with that, we're going to start as we always do by singing a nigun, which will reappear a little bit later as a melody for Lecha Dodi. I hope you'll sing along with me at home. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la, ya la la. Ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 la ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la la, ya la la, ya la la, ya la la, ya la. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We'll take a moment for everyone at home, just to take a moment for ourselves to close our eyes and to reflect for just a few moments, and then we will light and bless our Shabbat candles. Our candle blessing can be found on page 120. If you're following along at home, either in your prayer book or in the online version, it should be 120. And you can join me at home if you have. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Okay. So of course, I realized I got things out of our normal order there. Normally, we do our silent time and then take our deep breath. So that's okay. We'll adjust. So let's all take our deep breath at home. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And we will open up our Siddurim to page 130. Our prayer books to page 130, online or in print. And I'm going to do a couple different melodies for Kabbalat Shabbat. I can already hear Marcia complaining that I've changed things up, but what can I tell you? It's one of the advantages of being alone in here is nobody can tell me that I'm wrong, at least for another hour or so. So hopefully you know some of these melodies, hopefully you like them, and if you don't, I'm sure I'll hear about it as well. So we're on page 130. We begin Kabbalat Shabbat, Lechu Neranana at the top of the page. Lechu Neranana L'Adonai Nariyah Letzor Yishenu Nekad Mahafanahav Betoda Bizmirot Nariyalo. Turn now to page 131, Psalm 96. Again, different melody tonight. Shiru ladonai shir chadash, shiru ladonai kol haaretz, shiru ladonai bachu shemo, basru meyom leyom yeshuato, safru vagoyim kevodo vechol ha'amim niflotav. Hay lai lai lai, hay lai lai lai, hay lai lai, hay lai lai lai. We're now on page 132, and the last paragraph in Hebrew at the bottom of the page, or Zaru. Or Zaru ala tzadik, uleishrei lev simcha. 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 Psalm 98, a prayer for Wednesday, is on page 134 at the very top of the page. Zamru l'Adonai bechinahor, bechinahor v'kol zimra, b'chatzotzrot v'kol shofar. Ahariu lifnei hamelech Adonai, Yiram hayamum lo, Tevel veyoshveva, Neharot yimcha uchaf yachad, Harim yiranenu, Lifnei Adonai kiva, Lishpot haaretz, Yishpot tevel betzedek, Ve'amim memesharim, Yiram hayamum lo, Tevel veyoshveva, Neharot yimcha uchaf yachad, Harim Yeranenu. Psalm 99 is on page 135, the last paragraph in Hebrew, right in the middle of the page. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'akodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'akodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'akodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'akodsho. Psalm 29 is on page 136, very top of the page. Mizmor leDavid, Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, Havu l'Adonai kevod shemo, Ishtachavu l'Adonai behadarat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod yirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, Adonai al mayim rabim. Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon, Vayarkidehem kemo egel, Levanon ve'Sirion, kemo ben reimim, kemo ben reimim. Kol Adonai chotzev labotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, Vayechesof ye'arot ubechalom, Kulo mekavod, Kulo mekavod, Kulo mekavod. Adonai lama bu yashav, Vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Turn now to page 138 at the very top, L'chadodi, and we're going to bring that melody in from earlier that we used for our nigun. L'chadodi likrat kalai, alalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabelai, l'chadodi likrat kalai, alalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabela. Shamur bezachor bedimbur echad, ishmiyanu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad ushmo echad, l'shemu tiferet ve'elik tilam, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללה, 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 בני שבת. נקבל לילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללה, 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 בני שבת. נקבל לקראת שבת, לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם ניסוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללה, 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 פני שבת. נקבל לילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללה, 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 בני שבת. נקבל לילה, מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך אפיך, רב לך שבת בעמק הבכה, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללה, 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 פני שבת. נקבל לילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללה, 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 פני שבת. נקבל התנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי, על יד בן ישי ביתה לחמי, קרובה אל נפשי גאלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללה, 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 פני שבת. נקבל לילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללה, 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 פני שבת. נקבל התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בא אורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללה, 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 בני שבת. נקבל לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת. נקבלה לא תבושי ולא תקמי, מה תשתחכי ומה תהמי בך, יחסו עניי עמי ונבנתה עיר עתילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת. נקבלה והיו לשמסו שוסייך, ורחקו כל נפלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהיך, כמסוס חתן. הכלה לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת. נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני, תעריצי על יד איש, בן פרצי ונשמחה, ונגילה לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת. נקבלה בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה גם משמחה, ובצהלתו אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת. נקבלה יי לי לי לי, לי 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 la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la la la. Ya la 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 la. Okay, if you're at home, please be seated. I like to imagine that everybody was dancing at home like we would normally dance here. We'll find out later, maybe at the Oneg. So we can turn now to page 140 as we conclude Kabbalat Shabbat. At Tzadik Katamar, right where it indents in the middle of the page, again, page 140. Tzadik Katamar yifrach kerez bal bahanun yizker shetulim beveit Adonai vechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun veseva deshenim verhananim yehu lehagim ki ashar Adonai tzuri velo We rise now for the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba v'almad yirach yirteh v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayedecho beit Yisrael b'agala u'bizman karir v'emeru Amen. Yesh me'Rabba mevorach le'alam li'al be'almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitroma v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shiratam tushbechata v'nechemata Tamihiran ve'alma ve'meru. Amen. We remain standing and we turn to page 146 for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Please be seated at home. We turn now to page 148. We'll read together in English at the bottom of the page the first blessing before the Shema. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, whirling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvelaila, Adonai Tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Amari v'arabim. We turn now to page 150 and we read together in English at the bottom of the page the second blessing before the Shema. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Ki hem chayinu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yom v'layla, v'avatcha al tastir mimenu li'olamim, baruch ata Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema on page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha ve'shinatam levanecha ve'dibarta bam ve'shivtecha b'veitecha u'b'lechtecha b'derech U'shokbecha u'kumecha u'kshatam leot al yadecha ve'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'eitem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim le'ot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. Let's read together on the top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place, a promised land. That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Yabai bai bim 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 bam, yabai bai bim bam, yabai bai bim 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 bam, yabai bai bim bam. Yai bye ba 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 bye ba bye bye bim bam. Yai bye ba 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 bye ba bye bye bim bam. Mihi chamocha ba'lim Adonai. Mihi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Norat hilot osefele. Norat hilot osefele. Yabai bai bim 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 bam, yabai bai bim bam, yabai bai bim 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 bam, yabai bai bim bam, ai bai ba 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 ba, yabai bai bim bam, ai bai ba 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 ba, yabai bai bim bam. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokeam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, zelianu ve'amru. Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. V'nemar kifar l'Adonai et Yaakov, u'galo miad chazak mimenu, baruch ata Adonai, gal Yisrael. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Hashkivenu, page 160. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu le'shalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu le'shalom ve'hamidenu Shomreinu lechaim. Ushmor tzeiteinu. Uoeinu. Lechaim u'shalom. Me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu le'shalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu le'shalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Yerushalayim. The Shamer, page 162. V'shameru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם עיני ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת שבת ויהי נפש. Before we begin the silent Amidah, I just wanted to read a very short reading on page 163 that I just always think is beautiful but seems very appropriate for right now, both and for various reasons. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. With those words in our minds and hearts, we'll begin the Amidah together on page 164, and then we'll continue silently, and of course, as always, go at your own pace, especially now, and when you're done, you can be seated. Just two notes that yesterday morning, as we had our festival service for the beginning of Pesach, during that service is when we switch over on page 168 from praying for rain during the winter months, Mashiv HaRuach Morid HaGashem, to Morid HaTal, praying for dew. So there's a special prayer that was said on Thursday, but now until we get all the way through the high holidays, we will stay with Morid HaTal. And also, if memory serves me correctly, on page 174, since we're still during the holiday of Pesach, even though it's not Chag, it's Chol HaMoed, so this period of time in between, we add the special section on page 174 in the center. But with that again, we'll start on page 164 together and then continue as we always do. So please do go at your own pace. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare his. Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yehoshvei Tevel. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. We'll turn now to page 371 to offer our Mishaberach, our prayer for healing. And of course, as we think of those most directly connected to us, we also, as we have done for the last several weeks, hold in our hearts and minds all of those who are suffering with this horrible virus and its complications. And of course, everyone that is affected by that in the direct interaction with and indirect interaction with. And as I've said the last few weeks, even though this is specifically a prayer for healing, that I want to also have us think about at this time, Misha Berach is also an opportunity for us to pray for those who are protecting those who are sick, who are helping to do that healing, and not just the doctors and nurses, but all of the support staff that supports them, all of the people who continue to work in all sorts of public forums, so that we still have our heat and our electricity and food to eat and all the things that we need to ultimately survive. So as we offer this Misha Berach wholeheartedly, we are thinking of all of them, and we pray and hope for the speedy recovery of those sick, for the protection of those helping, and ultimately for all of this we hope to resolve very quickly, as the prayer itself says. Okay, refuah shlema, and one that comes really maher. It's going to come as fast as possible. Mishaberach avotenu ve'imotenu Avraham Yitzchak ve'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah v'yivarech et hacholim ha'elu. We begin by thinking of those connected to our community and in our community who are in need of healing. Jean Ben Sadun, Gloria Taradash, Andrea Klausner, Judy Stern, Miriam Cornfield, Raz Brody, Chana Ruth Bat Sarah, Marlise Silverberg, Louis Davidson, Susan Spruce, Fagel Tzipora Bat Elisheva Bat Sarah, Richard Gambino, Michelle Sawicki, Idle Basha Bat Yitzchak, Tzvi Menachem Ben Chaim, Rivka Bat Devora, Amy and Gavin Tucker, Janice Kurz, David Dowling, Neil Elliott and Eileen Rosen, Israel Ben Yitzchak, Ben Sion Ben Moshe, Lorraine Danis, Buddy Kossoff, Shelley Newmark, David Kyle Klotman, Rivka Bat Rachel, Sarah Bat Chana, Moshe Eliezer Ben Sivia, Peretz Ben Yehuda, and Leah Bat Naomi. We'll now pause just for a moment for those at home who would like to share names. Even though I can't hear it on this end, I promise that it is felt. And I'll just say at this point, if you have people that you would like to be on the red Misha Berach list, please just email me and I'll be happy to add them. So please take this moment, say their names aloud. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Alehem, Lahachalimam, Lerapotam, Lechazikam, Vishlach Lehem Mehera Refuah, Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, Hashtabag Alav Zman Kariv, and Omar, Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are suffering. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us say together, Amen. Misheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Moadim l'simcha. So I wanted to share a couple reflections, a little bit of a history lesson, and then hopefully something to take away on this Shabbat. And the reflection part is about last night and about the experience of leading our first online communal Seder, which has become basically, in the non-Orthodox Jewish world, became the norm over this Pesach. Individual families were doing it, and individual communities are doing it. And I can only just say, to be very, very honest with you, leading up to it, I was probably more nervous for that experience than for almost anything else I've been asked to do in my time here. I've been feeling really anxious about it since I had the idea, or many of you had suggested the idea to do it when all this started to happen. And the reason I was concerned about it is that so much of what I believe to be the essence of the Seder was in the interaction, right? The people being in the same physical space, the jokes, the lack of elbow room, as it were, all the things that make up the Seder, and all the memories that I've had over the last several years of leading the Seder here, which again was a sort of new experience for me at the beginning, because as growing up, right, no matter what was going on, either my dad was leading it, or my uncle was leading it, my grandfather was leading it, my grandfather on the other side was leading it, right? Almost all those circumstances, I was a participant, never a leader. Only until I came here and became a rabbi was the first time that I had to do it. And so really, I think the closest I could describe to the anxiety level was probably to the first Seder that I led all those years ago when I first came here. And not because I didn't know the material, not because the Haggadah actually was all that complicated, but simply because there's a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of the leader of a Seder to convey all of the things that a Seder is supposed to be about. And so much of that, again, is this assumption on all of our parts that the Seders that we do or that our families have done are the same Seder that's been done since time immemorial, since Moses himself, right? That's our mindset about things like this, is that we really believe that the Seder is this thing that's been around forever, and that it is the essence of the Jewish celebration of Pesach. And so part of my anxiety was, can that really happen with Zoom? Can that happen in a digital fashion? Can it happen, in a way in which that was going to be meaningful for everybody? And I can only say that the feedback I've gotten so far was that it really was quite special for the other end, and I can say for myself, it was one of the most unique and important experiences I've ever had in my entire life, certainly in my rabbinate. But I realized that part of my anxiety, as I said, wasn't just about the doing. It was, is this really what a Seder is about? And am I going to uphold this high tradition of what a Seder is for our people? So, of course, in my preparation, I came across something which, fits very much in line with a lot of things that I've learned about Judaism over the years, which is, of course, that the Seder is not monolithic, that there isn't such a thing as one perfect Seder or one ideal Seder or one circumstance in which a Seder works and it doesn't. The Haggadah and the Seder, the order that goes within it, right, that remains the constant. You're supposed to still do things in the order in which they appear. But the level of creativity that I have seen, especially this year, in terms of taking that basic concept and exploring in so many different directions, is really, I think, actually the essence of what a Seder really is. In order to understand that, we have to take a step back a little bit and do a little bit of a history lesson here. Okay, so for this, I'm going to borrow very heavily from a very thorough, very interesting article that was presented actually as a teaching many years ago. I believe this was in the early 2000s, by Professor Rabbi David Golinkin, who is the president, or at least then was the president of the Machon Schechter Institute that is located in Jerusalem. It's a place of learning and happens to also be the place in which conservative rabbis, when they go to spend their year in study, generally spend their time learning. So Professor Golinkin basically did a rather thorough research project on the history of the Seder and where it comes from. And the basis of the need for this is because, while it may strike you as surprising, there is no mention of the Seder anywhere in the Torah. The Seder is a creation many, many generations later. We're not entirely certain exactly of its origins, when it began, whose idea it was. However, there's a tremendous amount of scholarship that has been done that have presented some, let's just say, very reasonable suggestions about its origins and its time frame. Ones that are not universally accepted. I could say my brother finds it very frustrating but ones that I think objectively, even if we don't agree with them, teach us something very important about the Seder itself. So before we even get to that, I just want to reemphasize that in the Torah, the description of the way to celebrate Pesach really revolves around a few key things, one of which being the paschal sacrifice, the paschal lamb, right? The offering that was given first in the Mishkan and then eventually in the temple. And that was part of the whole system of celebration of the holiday of Pesach. Also to celebrate the freedom aspect of Pesach and the matzah and the maror. But beyond that, all this other stuff, the Chad Gadyas, the things that we most associate in some ways with the Seder, that stuff doesn't exist in the Torah. So it means at some point or another, somebody had to decide that this was a good idea, that doing a Seder was a meaningful way of celebrating Pesach. So in his research, in Rabbi Golinkin's research, in which he is drawing from many different places, many different backgrounds, he eventually coalesces around the instruction or the book that was written in 1957 by Siegfried Stein. And the title itself, or actually it was an entry in the Journal of Jewish Studies, I apologize. It was called The Influence of Symposia Literature on the Literary Form of the Pesach Haggadah. Okay, symposium literature. So his main thesis, and he was building off of earlier suggestions, was that the Seder is actually analogous to and built off of the model of the Greek symposium, which eventually is also taken on by the Romans as well. And the basic concept of this, the idea of a symposium, which I believe is Platonic in its origins, I think that's correct. So the professor explains it this way. Platonic practice that developed in which a description was given of a banquet held by a few learned people who had met at a friend's house to discuss scientific, philosophical, ethical, aesthetical, grammatical, dialectic, and religious themes over a glass, and very often over a barrel of wine, after they had dined together. And Plutarch then summarizes his understanding of it and says that a symposium is a communion of serious and mirthful entertainment, discourse, and actions, and it's meant to further a deeper insight into those points that were debated at the table, for the remembrance of those pleasures which arise from meat and drink, and the subjects of philosophical queries and discussions which remain always fresh after they have been imparted, and they are relished by those who were absent as well as by those who were present at the dinner. So right off the bat, some of this should sound pretty familiar, right? This idea of gathering together, of having a meal, of having quite a few glasses of wine, of having wide-ranging conversations about all manner of existence, and yet at the same time being built off of some common narrative, some reflective element, some piece of history. And from it, everyone leaves basically happy and also now possessing of knowledge that they didn't necessarily have before. So that conceptually certainly makes a strong argument that there is at least some kind of concept or connection between our Passover Seder and the Greek Symposium. And he goes on to explain that there are other parallel elements. First of all, the idea of reclining. So we don't get to do it quite as much these days, but the idea is that the Pesach meal is really meant to be eaten comfortably as humanly possible. And in the case of the ancients, in the case of the Greeks and the Romans, the tradition really was to recline. If I remember correctly, recline to your left, so that your right hand is left unencumbered to eat. So you can basically imagine, dropping grapes into your mouth and being in that kind of mindset. And so the idea is that even if we are impoverished, we're supposed to be as comfortable as possible, to put a pillow behind our back, to really make ourselves feel that way. Most people's seders don't function that way because we're trying to squeeze as many human beings into a small space as possible. But that's the mindset, again, according to the tradition. And again, the many cups of wine, the washing of hands was a ritual component of the symposia. There was also an idea that a symposia should begin in a place of, let's say, challenge or less than ideal circumstances and work towards something better. So many Haggadot, the tradition according to the Mishnah says that the person who's leading the Seder should begin with disgrace and conclude with praise. And that actually is really mimicking the story and how ultimately things go in a Seder. Right? We tell the beginning of the story is not positive, right? We're in a really tough place in Egypt, but by the end of it we are singing Hallel and we're celebrating freedom. So there is again this kind of interesting parallel in that case. So, okay, I can't be sure none of us can be sure that there is in fact a direct line between the Greek Symposia and our Seder, nor is there to suggest the idea that the Seder, it's inconceivable that the rabbis concocted their own idea of a meal that could be shared in which the experience of reliving and retelling the story of the Exodus, it's plausible for sure. But I think that when one studies Jewish history, and studies it extensively, and especially studies the periods of time in which we were in contact with, either by our choice or not by our choice, with other cultures and other powers and other ways of being, that we almost always interacted with it, and we learned from it, and we absorbed some of it, and we in some cases influenced it. And so it's not inconceivable by any means that we would have had some drawing from this already existing concept of the symposium. So here's the key piece, though, and this will eventually tie back into our idea about last night's experience. And again, to credit Rabbi Professor Golunkin, what he says as follows as a conclusion, I think, is what's most important. So he asks, what can we learn from all these parallels? The Jewish people throughout the generations did not live in a vacuum. It absorbed much from its surroundings, but it did not absorb blindly. It did not absorb blindly. The sages absorbed the form of the symposium from the Hellenistic world, but drastically changed its content. The Greeks and Romans discussed love and beauty, food and drink at the symposium, while the sages at the Seder table discussed the Exodus from Egypt, the miracles of God, and the greatness of redemption. The symposium was meant for the elite, while the sages turned the Seder into an educational experience for the entire Jewish people. In essence, the rabbis borrowed the literary, legal, or philosophical form of their contemporaries, but totally changed the contents. And in this case, I think he hits it right on the nail. And there are so many examples of other elements of Judaism which fit this exactly. That it's not a mimicking, so to speak, but when we have observed in our outside culture things that make sense, things that offer us opportunity to actually deepen our own connection to our own culture and our own tradition, we're not afraid to borrow from it, but we always make the necessary adaptations. In our case, those adaptations are almost always to make things serious and significant, not losing the fun, not losing the humor, not losing that element, but to make sure that we're not wasting our time. And I'll be honest with you, the only Seders that actually get a little bit under my skin, and I try not to be judgmental about it, are the ones that basically say, let's get through this as fast as possible. And I get it, I understand the concept, but the idea of the Seder, the idea of the Symposia, is this idea that through the experience, not only do you enjoy yourself if you take the time to do it properly, but actually you come out on the other side a changed person, a different person, a person hopefully who is better than the person who started the Seder at the beginning. And by that I mean, if we dedicate 2 hours, 2 nights in a row, to discussing concepts of injustice, concepts of freedom, concepts of family and religion and God and praise and gratitude, if we really dedicate ourselves to spending that kind of time, then that's a wonderful thing. That's not a loss. There's no rushing through that. That's a gift. But it's only a gift if we do something with it. And this all ties back to my original point about wondering whether this Zoom thing was going to work. Because I wasn't sure if the experience was going to actually help to transform anybody or to challenge anybody. And I don't know for a fact that that's what happened, but I can say for at least one person that it did. For me, it was transformative. For me, it changed my mindset about a lot of things. And it showed me that while there may be issues with technology, and technology can be sometimes as bad as it is good, that if used properly, if adapted thoughtfully, right, with an idea in mind and a concept in mind that we want to drive it towards, then in fact, actually, this technology may be one of the greatest gifts that we have at our disposal. Not just for the moments right now where we are stuck in our homes, but actually going forward in all sorts of ways. And that creativity that has been sparked as a result of this challenge, I think is precisely the creativity that ultimately drove the rabbis to create the Seder. When the temple was destroyed, when there was no means of offering the sacrifices as it had been done for generations past, they didn't just say, okay, we can't do Pesach anymore. They said, what can we do to try to mimic the feeling? And what can we do to actually even move it a little bit forward? How are we going to make sure that every generation looks at this experience with gratitude and with excitement and with a sense that its perpetuation is at the very core of what it means to be part of the Jewish people. And by that I mean the responsibility to teach to the next generation. So I'll leave really with that last comment, which was that one of the great joys of last night was seeing several of my students and their families jump on this Zoom, and realizing that at least in some small way, that we are making sure that even in this circumstance, even where the greatest challenge to be able to hold Seders and to have Pesach had been overcome, and that the commandment, the obligation and expectation to teach the next generation about the Exodus had succeeded. And I think if nothing else is said about it, I think that really was one of the most significant aspects of last night's Seder for me. And I hope that wherever you were, whether you were with us or otherwise, that your Seder experiences were equally edifying and gratifying. And I hope that next year, whatever the circumstances may be, that we don't lose sight of the really remarkable elements of this year's Passover and this year's Seder. So with that, I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. And again, I'm wishing you as well a Moadim L'Simcha, an enjoyment of this wonderful in-between space of the holiday of Pesach. And as is our case at this time of year, once we are in the holiday of Pesach, we are beginning a counting all the way to the holiday of Shavuot, known as Sfirat HaOmer. If you'd like to follow along with me, it's on page 570. I hope it's in the prayer book that's online. If not, I will do this on everyone's behalf. Hineni muchan u'mezuman l'kayem mitzvat aseh shel Sfirat HaOmer. I stand here ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al Sfirat HaOmer. Hayom sheni yamim la'omer. Today marks 2 days of the Omer. Our praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who houses us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer. Okay, we'll now turn to page 586, the bottom of the page, Aleinu L'Shavech. Aleinu L'Shavech L'Adon HaKol, Ativ Gedula L'Yotzer Breshit, Shelo Asanu K'goyei Ha'aratzot, Velo Samanu K'mishbechot Adama, Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem, Vegor Aleinu K'chol Hamonam, V'anachnu Korim U'mishtachavim U'modim, Lifnei Melech Malchei Halachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'nehemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. Before we read the Mourner's Kaddish, we'll turn to page 594 for a brief meditation. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. I'll ask those at home who are remembering someone who's passed in recent months or observing a yard site to please remain standing. We first remember those who passed in recent months: Florence Bass, Barbara Friedman, Lee Friedman, Arlene Mandelbaum, Myra Sofsky, and Lisa Schneidman. We also mark the yard sites that occurred during the last week for Istvan Benjamin, Steve Bergman, Sheila Brick, Hilda Berger, Rachel Cherish, Edith Dobson, Woodrow Emanuel, Jacob Falk, Mildred Gauze, Stephanie Glazer, Max Giroux, Sylvia Klinitsky, Milton Kelmans, Joseph Kirsch, David Krotman, Ray Meyer, Ida Millman, Bernard Mintz, Morris Newmark, Shayna Dina Kaplan-Price, Sarah Quiros Ramirez, Fanny Siegel Ratner, Joseph Rothbard,
Julia Scavron, Edith Schwab, Emily Ruth Segelstein, Ruth Silberg, Max Silver, Jacob Spitz, Henry Spitzer, Walter Vargas, and William David Weiss. If there's anyone that you're saying Kaddish for this evening and you haven't said their name yet, this is an opportunity for you to share their names as well. We'll join together now for the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam le'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, Damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may every one of their memories be for a blessing. Okay, please be seated at home if you're still standing. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's our first Kabbalat Shabbat live and in person, and I hope and pray that it worked the way that it's supposed to. I won't know until after the fact. But I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom wherever you may be, and a Moadim L'Simcha, Chag Sameach for everyone as well. So just a couple announcements, because it's exciting that I can actually make announcements again. It took a little while for us to just do what I would describe as a certain amount of triage, just making sure that the basic things were taken care of here at the temple, that we got our live streaming up and running, that we were ready for Pesach, that we were making sure that our community was getting the things that it needed. And I think, thank God, we have reached a sort of stabilized position. So now we can start to think about how to keep all of us connected and entertained over the next, what we hope will only be a few weeks, months. Hopefully, decision is the one that is the right decision that keeps us all safe. I'll leave it at that. So, with that in mind, we've created a few new opportunities and a few more that are coming down the pike that I wanted to keep you guys noted about. So the first is you should have received an email from me earlier today if you're a member of the community, and we're going to have basically a Zoom online Oneg Shabbat immediately following services. So you'll just give me a minute or two to hop from here back into my office. I'll turn the Zoom on and we'll all hang out together for a little while. By all means, bring your own Kiddush cups, your own wine, your own snacks, whatever they might be, kosher LePesach snacks. And we'll be able to connect with each other, which I think was one of the great things that I saw last night at the Seder. We want to continue that going. Also tomorrow, we'll have our regular 10 o'clock service, and then Torah study will follow immediately at 12 o'clock on Zoom. Same idea again, you should have gotten the link. And if you didn't, please email me and I'll be happy to send it to you another way. And if you think there's anybody else that would like to join, please, by all means, share it. Just make sure that, that you only let in the good ones, I guess. The other thing that is in the works is that we're going to try to get an hour of Keelan a week. He's been generous enough to say that he could set up Zoom in his house, play some music, take some requests, just, keep up that connection with all of us. And the same from Cantor Emily all the way in California. We're trying to think of a number of different ways for her to remain connected to us and involved. And if you guys have any other suggestions, I'm going to hopefully start teaching my classes again beginning after Pesach. But if you have other thoughts of things that we could do, I'm open. I'm not that creative. So a lot of the good ideas that we've done so far have been because people have suggested them. So don't hesitate. Send me an email. Give me a call. Tell me what you think. And hopefully we'll keep going from there. So with that, again, I wish you all Shabbat Shalom. We're going to end our service here with Kiddush, which is on page 123. If you'd like to join with me with your wine or grape juice at home, that would be wonderful. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam b'horei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshenu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shamat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki v'hanu v'achata ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה ורצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. Chaim. Ooh, I'll bring this with me to the Zoom. I hope I'll see some of you guys on. And just a reminder, the archived version of this service will appear on YouTube almost immediately afterwards. It should have also been streaming live on Facebook, which was an experiment, so hopefully that worked. And as I said, there might be some hiccups. If you have any feedback, let me know. Otherwise, Shabbat Shalom, and I hope I'll see some of you online now and see some of you for Torah study tomorrow, and take care of yourself. Stay at home, please. Okay? I'm only here to do this when I go right home. Okay? So stay at home. Love you guys.